As you focus on what you can share through your injury versus always trying to prove something, that is going to be such a more fulfilling experience for you. Before I started college as a musician, I really struggled with performance anxiety. I ended up serving a mission for my church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Las Vegas, Nevada. And towards the end of my time there, I was listening to a talk, I guess, that one of my future professors in the music department had given back in 2009. And he says, when we perform in front of others, it is natural to experience what is often termed stage fright. Why do we get so frightened? It is because we are too focused on ourselves. I wonder if they like what I'm doing. I wonder if they are impressed. I wonder if they notice the mistake I made. I. All those thoughts are about me. Early on, I realized that if I had that chip on my shoulder of, I have to prove that I can come back from this, I have to prove to others that I can come back from this, then I could potentially put myself in a position where I would be ending up in the same situation. Something that just kind of came to me while I was going through the early stages of my recovery was that I needed to focus on what I could share rather than what I could prove. And instead of performing being something that was just for me to prove my worth, performing was a way for me to share my talent to serve others. And that is the message I want you to get from my entire show. Hey, welcome back to the show, guys. Today, I wanted to share one of the most impactful experiences of my life to kind of close out this season. It really has been the game changer for me with regards to battling performance anxiety, coming back from my injury, and just how I live my life as a human being. And I want to start by telling a story. Before I started college as a musician, I really struggled with performance anxiety. I had had some auditions go bad, and that kind of just snowballed into this crippling doubt in my ability. And it made it so all the hard work and preparation, my tendency to over-prepare, all those things really would just kind of flop when it came time to perform. This especially was true for auditions, because I felt like I had a lot to lose. Then I ended up, so I graduate high school. I got into my top choice of a school, thankfully. And that's a whole nother funny story in and of itself that I won't get into today. But I ended up serving a mission for my church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Las Vegas, Nevada. And towards the end of my time there, I was listening to a talk, I guess, that one of my future professors in the music department had given back in 2009. And that talk, listening to him speak, really changed my life and changed my whole perspective of my career as a musician and my faith and all the different things that went into my development as a musician. And I want to share a quick quote from that discourse that he gave at BYU, my now alma mater. This is where he's starting to really talk about what makes performance anxiety. And he says, when we perform in front of others, it is natural to experience what is often termed stage fright. This can happen when we perform a musical number, give a sacrament meeting talk, which is our church services, play on the football field, or participate in any other similar performance opportunity. Why do we get so frightened? If I could be so blunt, and that's where my ears really perked up when he said that, it is because we are too focused on ourselves. Our performance becomes self-centered. I wonder if they like what I'm doing. I wonder if they are impressed. I wonder if they notice the mistake I made. I. All those thoughts are about me. And he goes on to say about how he has been able to counteract that by thinking about how his Savior, Jesus Christ, would perform that part. And all that. It's a wonderful talk, whether you believe in or you're a believer in Christianity or whatever. I believe it's just a really awesome talk just to kind of center yourself in good things when you're performing. And that talk, when I heard that for the first time, It was just like a light bulb went off. I mean, to use a cliche phrase, right? And I had realized that really that's what caused my performance anxiety. I was worried about what other people would think of me when I messed up, or what people would think of me when I didn't meet their expectation of me going into that audition. And it really helped me change my perspective on performing. Instead of performing being something that was just for me to prove my worth, performing was a way for me to share my talent to serve others. And that is the message I want you to get from my entire show. Your talent is not something to prove your worth. It is to share, to serve others. Why is that so important? Well, why do we push ourselves past the point of that which is healthy for us as musicians? Why are overuse injuries so common? If I could be so blunt, a big part of it is because we're so concerned about what others think of us. Why are we trying to prove our worth to others in our talent and our talents and our gifts that we've been given? And for me, when I started to focus on performance as an act of service rather than as an act of self-indulgence, gratification, whatever you want to call it, that really helped me to be able to manage my performance anxiety in a much healthier way. And before my performances, this is before I got injured, obviously, I would kind of go through this routine, this mental routine of like, okay, who am I going to try to serve today? Who am I going to try and lift up? I mean, we all know the power of music. That's part of the reason why we're all in this field, right? Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the show. I just wanted to jump in here real quick and tell you about something that I'm really, really excited about. For a while now, I have wanted to create an even more effective resource than just the podcast that injured musicians can go to receive the support that they need. And recently I did just that. So write this down. Trust the Process Podcast Injured Musician Support Group. I know it's a long title. We're still working on that part. But this is a place where people can go now, injured musicians and even musicians who have gone through injury in the past, and people that help musicians go through injury, where they can go to receive the support that they need, whether that be ask questions, share their victories, share their frustrations, and overall just receive the community and the support that they need in a very proactive, intentional way. And so I just ask that you guys support these injured musicians by sharing this group with them, that they can receive the support that they need. Okay, enjoy the rest of the show. We all saw the effects of the pandemic and how not being able to perform with people in the room was a struggle for all of us. And I saw so many beautiful things, so many beautiful acts of service that came because of the pandemic, on people performing online, people creating online forums, and just community coming together to support one another. And that is a great gift that we all have, to be able to use our talents to benefit others, to benefit other musicians, to benefit people in our community, to benefit, also ourselves. I'm not saying that there is no personal benefit to us, or that we shouldn't be seeking that personal benefit of being a musician. There's one other thing that I want you guys to listen, and all of you guys who have been through injury, this is where I really want you to start writing things down. When I first got injured, I realized that I could go down one of two paths. I could, as far as like going through my recovery went, I could go down the path of having a chip on my shoulder, proving to others and to myself that I could move past this, that I could overcome this obstacle. So not a bad motive, right? But it was based in proving something, proving my worth, proving myself. For me personally, for my money and how I want to live my life, and somebody out there may disagree with me, but for me, I want to be not operating from a place where I have something to lose, because that just creates anxiety for me. And anxiety for me is not as helpful of an emotion. It's not the emotion of right or wrong. It's not going to help us become where we want to go. And the reason why is because we're always in our fight or flight mode. And that's not the best place to make decisions, right? Early on, I realized that if I had that chip on my shoulder, of I have to prove that I can come back from this, I have to prove to others that I can come back from this, then I could potentially put myself in a position where I would be ending up in the same situation, where I would be pushing myself past the point where it is healthy for me. And I'm not saying that you don't push yourself to grow, to heal when you're going through an injury. That's not what I'm saying at all. You have to do that in order to get back from your injury. And we talk a lot about that in injury prevention, obviously. But I really want you guys to focus on the fact that if you have something to prove, it's not going to be as enjoyable, as manageable, and as fruitful of an experience for you. I really, really believe that strongly. And so something that just kind of came to me while I was going through the early stages of my recovery was that I needed to focus on what I could share rather than what I could prove. Same thing with people performing on the stage. What can you share versus what can you prove? And you have to decide for yourself what that means. Delineate that on a piece of paper. For me, making that paradigm shift is what helped me to perform better on auditions before my injury and on stage and connect with my audience better. But then also with myself, focusing on being others-centered helped me to take that pressure off of myself. And in my injury, instead of focusing on grinding every single day to prove to others and to myself that I could come back from this injury, that this setback wasn't going to get me down, that wasn't the healthiest way to go about doing it for me. And so as I focused on what I can share, hint, this podcast is a big manifestation of that. As you focus on what you can share through your injury versus always trying to prove something, that is going to be such a more fulfilling experience for you. All the things that we've talked about on the show up to this point are going to serve a higher purpose than just yourself. It's the whole reason why I'm doing this show. When I was starting the second year of my injury, not having come back to my instrument, when I thought 6 months ago I was going to be back fully recording CDs, and going on tour with these groups that I dreamed my whole life or my whole time playing the trumpet on going on tour with, that I would have those opportunities, then missing those opportunities. This is what got me out of it, was focusing on how I could use this experience to serve others, to help lift other people's burdens. That's promises that I made to myself, that I would help others through their struggles, through their experiences. And so the takeaway that I want you to get is, with your performances, how can you use those opportunities to serve others in your mindset and also in any other way that you can find? I mean, get creative with it. And then if you're going through an injury and you're going through recovery, focus on having nothing to prove, but everything to share. And as you do that, you're going to find that you are able to get through that process much easier. It's not going to be easy, but easier. And you will find that you are just lighting up every single day with how you're using your injury as a gift, as a talent, as an opportunity to help others. So as we're wrapping up season 2, thanks so much for joining us. I'm so excited to see where this show is going. I spend the majority of every single day thinking about how I can better serve you and better create this community and get this messaging to more and more people so that less musicians are getting injured, and those who are getting injured are able to use these experiences to serve and help others and create the life that they want to, and then come back to their instrument having become such a different person in the best and most beautiful ways. And so keep on keeping on, guys. Keep trusting the process. Until next time. Hey, before you go, we need your help with something real quick. Somewhere out there's a musician who is going through an injury or just a tough time. There may even be an educator with a student in that situation that they don't know how to help. We need your help in getting this message to them. Would you do them the favor of sharing this episode on your socials and with your friends? Also, cliche that it may have become, leaving a rating and a review actually does help people find us, not just boost our ego. So would you take a quick second and leave us a review so that musician can find us more easily? If you want to reach out to me personally, I would love to hear from you. Just look for the Send Us a Text Message button in the show notes of the episode. You can do that on any episode on your chosen podcast platform except YouTube. If you have a suggestion for a guest or topic to cover, shoot me an email at trustprocesspodcast@gmail.com or send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. I want to extend another heartfelt thanks to my team, without which this podcast would not be able to happen. Thanks to Daniel Baldwin, our audio engineer, Kevin West, our music and sound effects coordinator, and Dana Lovell, our promotional materials coordinator. So to all of you out there in podcast land, keep on keeping on and trust the process.